they're going to come up with tricks. If you're quite solid in your scrum, they will work out ways how they can unstable you and look at ways how they can actually make the scrums not a weapon for us. We still have the same mindset. Coach Julian is really working hard on what we want to achieve out of our scrums. But it always depends on opposition, what they bring to the table on the day, so how they can manipulate it. And then obviously it's up to the ref now to see if they do come with their tricks and what they come up with to penalize them or to warn them, or for us actually to adjust. If you remember the Ospreys, they came up with a lot of tricks, and it actually took us a while to adjust and see what they're coming up with, but then we did manage to adjust. It's just from our side, if teams do come with playing games in the scrums with us, we need to be able to adjust quickly and then change the angle on how we're going to approach that every scrum from there on.
And then you must also be quite pleased with how the lineouts have improved in the last few weeks. I mean, I guess Reinhardt coming back and forming that relationship again with Ruben has made a huge difference in that department.
No, definitely. I've always said that, Ruben has done well for us with the amount of injuries we had, not being a lineout caller number 5. So he was under pressure there, but he did well in the absence of Reinhardt. And even with Peter, that's still out. So having Reinhardt back is great for us. He brings a lot of calmness to the lineout. Everyone is just, they can focus on their job. It's not about the small chat now, and everyone wants to tell Ruben where the space is. He's the general there, Reinhardt, and they all listen to him. And yeah, it's come on nicely for us in the last couple of games.
And then my final question, just merging those two together, looking forward to the Sharks. I mean, it's going to be a more traditional forwards battle, you would imagine, against the Sharks, where you guys can really have an arm wrestle in the scrums, lineouts, mauls. What are you guys expecting from the Sharks? How they're going to counter you guys in the set pieces, and how are you going to go forward with them?
No, you're 100% correct. I think it's going to be a forward battle game, especially scrum, lineouts, mauls, and then obviously they've got the ability with the kicking game they're going to add on to that. So for us, we prepared well this week. We just finished this morning with our scrums, our mauls. We know what we're going to go into against the Sharks. It looks like it's going to rain, which once again, as soon as it rains, it becomes a forward dominant game. So for us, it's going to be, that's where we're going to have to lay the foundation with the scrums and the lineouts and the mauls. If we can counter them there and make sure we can take care of the kicks, then we're in for a shout. They have a good team. They've got a solid team there with Ox and Thomas and Bongi in the front row. But it's always a challenge for us. We worked hard this morning, and we want to make sure that carries through to the game on the weekend.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Morgan. We'll go Liam and then Kanyiso.
Hi, Albert. Thanks for taking the time. This question basically joins on from what you were just asked. Do you think the fact that you played European opposition in the last couple of weeks, do you think that prepares you well for an encounter in Durban against the Sharks?
Well, it's always two different sets of games. We know the Sharks, every year we play against each other, and we know what they bring. When you play European teams, they bring slightly something different to the table. I mean, we played Edinburgh this weekend. They've got a lot of spins in the lineouts. So your focus is slightly different against teams like that. But also in that, saying that the preparation for the weekend for us is to make sure that whatever the Sharks bring to the table, that we can match that. And it's going to be the same for them. Whatever we take, they must be able to match us as well. So yes, playing the overseas teams, it opens up your mind slightly different with the competing lineouts and what you have to bring to the table. If you look at our teams, once we started playing those teams overseas, the options in the lineouts, the front peel at the back, looking at different options, that's sort of something that we also looking more at now. We used to a lot of mauling, but playing against those teams from overseas, there's a lot of vacuum attack and things they bring from lineouts, which is actually something that I think all the South African teams have added to the attacking system for them.
Does playing in Durban, does that draw you slightly out of your comfort zone? Because you've got a particular way of playing at Ellis Park. In Durban, you probably can't play that. So does that draw you slightly out of what you used to?
I think it's just going to be for us how quickly we can adapt to the conditions there. If it sounds like it's going to be wet. And it's going to be more forward game with regarding to scrums and more slowing down. So the big thing for us is that we know we can play high tempo, but going down there, if the game slows down and we can actually control it, be in control of the ball, then that'll suit us. So it's not going to take us out of our comfort zone. Yes, we want to play them on a pitch where we can run and actually enjoy an open game. But if that's the conditions we dealt with, then we have to take it. It's the same as going overseas. You know, you go and play overseas against Leinster, Ulster, those teams when it rains. I mean, we played the Glasgow Warriors in the rain as well. So again, then come a little bit closer, make sure that we understand what's needed on the day, and then make sure that we can deliver.
Thank you.
Thanks, Liam. Kanyiso?
Thanks, Liam.
Thank you very much, Nyaniso, and good afternoon, Albert. What has been your biggest takeaway from the success of the past 4 weeks against the European sides?
Vanessa, good afternoon. The biggest thing for us is consistency. We actually got to a stage where we could pick the same team with only 1 or 2 changes. You know, we went through a stage with the South African teams with a lot of changes, a lot of injuries, guys in and out. The big thing for us is we just take them game by game. We don't look at too far ahead and see where we're going to finish in this tournament. We decided to take game by game and make sure that we can actually prepare well for every game. And what always helps is when you get consistency, you know, almost picking the same team, everyone understands their roles. It makes a huge difference. So the confidence we're taking out of that we do have the ability now lately to pick the same team every weekend.
In one of the wins against the European teams, Ivan did say that one of the reasons why the Lions struggled a bit against the African teams was a bit of a mindset issue. Has that changed over the past 4 weeks?
Well, it's a challenge for us, you know, to play actually well against the South African teams. You play the overseas teams, and it's almost like a different mindset where you go and you want to prove yourself as playing against these guys. They play for Scotland, Italy, Ireland, Wales. So it's almost like you lift that level because you're playing against internationals. But when you come up against South African teams, it's all about us then, not so much about them. So sometimes we actually forget about ourselves and we focus too much on the South African teams, how they play, and then we want to match them. So for us, the mindset is, you know, the overseas teams game they played, we focus on ourselves. Let's do the same for the South African teams. Don't worry too much about them. Let's focus on ourselves.
And I think finally from my side, just tell us more about the way that Vincent Chituka has come on the season. When he's played, he's made a very big impact, and the Lions pack, which has been very good, he really starts to cook when he's playing.
We see Vince is very good for us. I mean, being man of the match a couple of times, his ball carry is good, his defense is good, his jackal work is good. He's a classy player. And when you have someone like that in the team, everyone else can just follow. You know, sometimes players, they're waiting for someone to do the work. Vince is one of those guys, he puts his hand up and he just gets stuck in and he does it. And it's easy for the rest of the guys to follow. Having Vince in our pack, you know, he gives us that advantage of actually getting going forward ball, which makes it a lot easier for the attack. And then when we're on the defense, he's quite dominant there. Also having his brother, Mano Emmanuel, with us. He's still young, he needs to learn a lot there in that position, but just having his presence on the field brings a lot of physicality for us.
Thanks, Kamo. Thanks. Do you have any other questions, guys? I don't see any hands. Are we all happy? All right. Thanks very much, guys. Appreciate your time. I will share the recording shortly. Have a good afternoon.
Cheers, guys. All the best.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. So I've killed 2 birds with 1 stone, Nalena.